Welcome to Uniquely Brilliant, a podcast for creative, quirky, and extraordinary thinkers of all ages and the people who love them. We encourage, inspire, and provide strategies to motivate you to embrace your unique brilliance and realize your potential for success. Hi, I'm Diana Bader, also known as Coach Di. I encourage teens and young adults to become who they are and develop personal success through self-awareness and positivity. You can find me at freshcanvascoaching.com, follow and like the Fresh Canvas Facebook page, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Di.
Hello there, I'm Becky Berry. I am a performance coach who helps people level up their lives by smoothing out the relationship between their work lives and their personal lives. You can find my website at beckyberrycoach.com. I'm on Twitter at Becky Berry Coach, and you can find me on my Facebook page, Becky Berry Coach.
Together we are here sharing our thoughts, insights, and experiences from our own uniquely brilliant perspective. All right, it's episode 106, and today we're going to talk about Carpé Diem.
Yes, ma'am. It's snowing outside. It's like, what's the date that we're recording this? December the 8th.
Yes.
And we're in Atlanta, and it's snowing, and that's a big deal. So both of us thought separately that we need to seize the day. I did. I texted Diana. I said, okay, we're doing let's do our podcast in our pajamas. We'll get Uber Eats for lunch, and we will have a snow day and still, do the podcast. And then she got over here and tell them what happened for you.
Oh, well, one of the weirdest things that's happened recently is as I'm getting Christmas decorations out, one of my big frustrations living in the South was that we didn't have snow that often. So when we had snow, I made a huge deal out of it for the kids and for the kids and everything else. And
it's a rule. You cross that Mason-Dixon line, if it snows, it's a celebration.
Well, but the thing was, for me, I was missing it. I have all of my Christmas decorations. I have a big collection of snowmen that I started back then. And so for the longest time, that was the thing that was always missing for me. I actually one year made ginormous styrofoam snowmen just so I could have like snowmen in my yard.
I love it. Well, now you have your Ohio snowmen, right?
Yeah, I do. But so snow, that was one of the big things I was missing. And in the last couple years, I sort of lost touch with that. And so it just became sort of a burden and whatever. But so driving over here, I'm still in that sort of burden mindset.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's the snow. I'm driving over here. And then I'm
snow in the South. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Because the driving is a whole other issue.
Well, they just don't do. They don't.
We don't.
They just
we
don't. But
you have to say we because you live here.
No, I don't. They don't do it right.
Saying.
But driving over here, I go through some nicely wooded areas and windy roads, and it's a heavy snow, so it's hanging on the branches, and it's looking gorgeous.
Isn't it beautiful?
And I had to take that moment and go, oh, wow, this is really beautiful today.
Yeah.
And address that, and then that kind of shifted everything.
Right. Things happen. We get so busy. We have our agendas. We have our calendars. We have all the stuff we need to do. So it is so easy to forget to enjoy what's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because what was I doing? I was going through my email or something, and it wasn't snowing. And then I looked up, and it was. And it was, like you said, this big flakes. I'm like, oh my gosh. I went out. I did a Facebook Live in my pajamas. Hadn't had a shower yet. I said, but I had texted you already.
Yeah. So
I was saying we were going to do this, this morning, and it was just beautiful. And if we're so married to those agendas and this boom, this has to happen here, this has to happen there. I'm in a rush. We miss the gorgeous things in between.
Well, and I've been reading a few things lately, and I've been thinking and talking to a couple of the friends about focus, and what you focus on, you see more of. You know, it's like when you get a car, I think we've talked about this before. When you get a certain kind of car and you're driving down the road, all of a sudden you see those cars everywhere.
Well, like when you were shopping when you got your truck, all of a sudden, and when you got your truck, all of a sudden I'm seeing a whole lot more of them too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you get more of what you focus on. It's just, you just do. You see it more often. It becomes more relevant in your life. And so when you're focusing on the negative, the ick, the whatever, that becomes more prevalent in your life. You see more of it. You forget or you blind out all the good stuff.
That's right. What is that called? Cognitive? Remember, it's in one of the productivity things because it's in my.
Is it cognitive dissonance?
No, cognitive dissonance is where it bangs around in your head and it doesn't make any sense. But it's
one of those things.
I can't remember what it is.
I can't either.
So yeah, I think that's true. And, you know, that's the whole point of visualization. It's the whole point of positive thinking is so you shift your focus. And, of course, me talking about focus ever is pretty funny. However, I did do my meditating this morning, and I think I don't know, I think I'm up to 6 days straight. I think I did 3 or 4 last week, which is, you know, gigantic.
Yes.
By a factor of, you know, 100 more than I've ever done before. But it really does change how you focus. And last night I went to a winter solstice service at Mary Martha's place, this feminist spirituality place I go to, and it's all silent. It's silence. We have like, I think there were 4 periods where it's totally silent for 5 minutes, you know, bell, the whole night. But everything else is real quiet. It's like there was a flute and a cello, and it's just really calm and really quiet. And it's one of my places. It's one of my foundational pieces of who I am. So whenever I go back there, I love to see the women, and they're all older than me. One of them's in her 90s now. Nice. And she was there. It was great. And I just love it. So there was a combination of being surrounded by those women who were such a foundational part of my life when I was a young mother. I mean, because I'm hanging out with these 50-year-olds, and I'm 40 with a 4-year-old. So it's really a really big deal. And they're all centered, you know, and focused, and, you know, all of that stuff. So they are there. And then there's the service, and it's just quiet. A girlfriend went with me, and I just felt myself feeling heavy and light at the same time. Heavy because I was grounded, and light because I was in a great place. And I have a feeling that's why I woke up when I got up this morning. And first I meditate in the bed before I ever get out. That's number one trick. I run in the other room and get my phone because I don't have the phone in the room with me, and I do my app. But then I realized I was just like going like a crazy person. I was like, that's called the after effects of gratitude, of seizing the day. Catherine and I could have decided not to go last night because we've been really busy. Yeah, I've had something every night this week, but we were like, we've been before, and we were both like, oh yeah, we're going, and we reaped the benefits. So that's cool. It was nice. When we take the time to leave ourselves open to those moments, to the snow, to whatever, then we really can shift our perspectives, not just in that moment, but as we go through the day, because we've left just this little room. No matter how bleak things are, we've made this little crack in the bleakness where other stuff can begin to creep in. So if all you do is you look out your window and you say, wow, it's snowing, that's going to have a profound effect on you, because you cannot say, wow, it's snowing, and then be all like, bah, humbug kind of thing. It just doesn't work. Well, one of the things I always picture when I think of a shift, you know, shifts can be very, very subtle, and you don't necessarily feel them come on. But if you've ever seen even a model train track where you can like push that little button and the train goes off on another track. God, I love that. Yes. That's exactly what happens. You're not going around in that same circle anymore. Now you might be doing the figure 8 or doing whatever else. And that's what it feels like. And when you're really in tune with yourself, you can literally feel that little knob. Yeah. And you don't know the thing that a lot of people I think have a problem with is they want to know what's going to come next. Okay, yeah, I shifted. Does that mean this is going to happen? And they get that anticipatory thing going. Whereas if you just anticipatory or expectation? Well, both, right? For sure. And if you just let that go with it,
and stay in the moment along that, it's amazing.
Isn't that what seize the day is?
Yeah.
Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Now, if it's a bad moment, you don't have to stay in it. But you can seize the opportunity to just shift your perspective a little bit. Just a little bit. I think we all, so many of us, I know I do, are real like binary, on, off, black, white, yes, no, where they're like more than 50 shades of gray between black and white. You know, way more than 50 shades of gray. If we take advantage of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think just even looking outside right now, out the window and watching the snowfall, you know, it's, some people would see just the grayness and the white and the drear, but there's so much more going on.
Well, I wonder if Kennedy, my son looks at it differently here than he looked at it the 6 years he was in Boston, including the blizzard that broke all records, because he was there for that. And you don't necessarily look forward to the snow when it's like that. So I wonder if when he saw this today, if he was a little bit excited, a little bit of that kid in Georgia kind of thing, you know, excitement, or if he went, ugh, snow.
Actually, he put something on Facebook with
I'm glad you say that.
I just remembered he did. He put something on Facebook that it was a snapshot of when the blizzard came through, like the forecast for that or whatever, and made some comments. So yeah, he was.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I just remembered I saw that this morning.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny because, you know, I remember going up there. I mean, and people poo-poo the snow in Georgia all the time, and I'm like, only people who aren't natives do that, because any native of the South, when there's snow, you get excited because we don't have it. We have it 4 days a year, maybe. And then once in a blue moon, like in 1971 when my youngest brother was born. We had so much snow and ice that we were out at school for a week. We had no power. We had a newborn in the house with no power. But that's rare. So there's never a time. I remember going to Boston, and there's snow everywhere, and everywhere I'm going, and I look out my hotel room. This is the spring after Bo died, so this would have been spring 2013, and they'd had a lot of snow, and I'm staying next to a big mall, and I look out, and there's like 2 stories of snow from where they've scraped, you know, the thing, and I go, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing, and everybody's like, are you nuts? I'm like, when am I going to see 2 stories of snow? You got to appreciate the moment you're in. You know, you've got to, when we can like just, and I know, no, I've always been like this, so never mind. This is just the way I am. When I see something that delights me, I'm delighted. And I'm not going to like temper it because, oh, look at this hick southerner in Boston going crazy over the snow. It's a fact. I've never seen anything like this. It's pretty awesome. And then when I went back after the blizzard, the snow was, they had plowed at Ken's school, and I had pictures of us, and it's like up to the top of my head.
Oh yeah,
it's just like, well, I mean that's what 100 inches of snow looks like, but it's like, it's crazy. But the trick is to wallow. Wallow is one of my favorite words. Wallow in that moment, wallow in that joy, because in that minute, in that moment, even in that second, we reconnect with that little kid inside of us.
Well, you know how every year I pick a word.
Oh no, have you picked your new word?
I have picked my new word.
Oh gosh, and the pressure. You're going to make, will you listen? All right, all you on the pike listening to this, and Diana, make me pick a word.
Okay.
And I don't use that word make lightly, people. You have to make me.
Yeah, I will. I will. And maybe by the end of this podcast, you'll have one.
Oh, there you go. And I've got the book you gave me about it. Yep. All right, so Sam is putting it off. I don't know if I want to know it. No, I totally want to know it.
Well, see, how I pick my words, that might be helpful. How I pick my words is usually words that show up frequently in my world, like the last quarter of the year.
Right. Oh, okay.
That are sort of pointing me in a direction. And this started a little bit earlier this year because it was a feeling that I was getting constantly.
Oh.
So my word for this year that goes along with what you were talking about is wonder. That having that sense of wonder with everything, like the newness and the excitement.
It's not a word. It's a phrase. It's Carpé Diem. Right? Because everything I've been looking at and working, and I just did a webinar yesterday, and they're like, what holds you back, and it's that I don't seize the day.
Okay.
You know what,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yep.
You watch it. All right, wonder. I
Wonder.
love it. I wonder what's going to happen, or is that part of it?
It's sort of, but it's just it's what we're talking about right now. It's allowing the newness of something, allowing that excitement, that I don't know, just allowing stuff to happen and being with it and seeing it, letting it play out without trying to control it.
Well, and you're right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the middle of it. You know, when you tell people you're going back to Ohio, everybody wants to know all the details. You're like, I don't know yet.
No.
I wonder. So you get to wonder.
I get to just feel that sense of wonder, like a little kid, like something new, the newness,
Well, and then you get to be delighted.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very hard to have delight without wonder.
And for me, yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. I mean,
Right.
I kind of, when I experience wonder, delight is definitely a part of it.
Right. That's great. Oh, I love that. Hey, that's cooler. I don't know. And was pretty awesome that year.
Yeah.
But wonder. But look at how this is going. Do your last four. Tell us your last four.
Oh my gosh.
Watch this.
I'm trying to remember what my last four were.
What was before and? Because we were together, but I don't remember what it was.
I think it was extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
I had extraordinary, wonder. I mean, extraordinary and
Because was last year and?
yeah, last year was and.
Uh-huh.
I've totally lost what it was.
Like this year.
No, this year was this year kind of was this year
You had it on your calendar at some point.
I did. This was Ascend. This year was
Oh
Ascend.
yeah.
Above, to get above all the other stuff. Yeah.
That's an interesting progression there.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that
And
what I don't do is I mean, a lot of people like make that their year and then kind of like push it away. I bring it forward. So this whole and concept that I started a couple of years ago, when I'm stuck with something or I have choices to make, and I look at them, I'll go, hold on, I can do this and that. There's nobody telling me I can't. I can still do that.
Yeah.
And so this year with Ascending, certain, like when the thyroid cancer hit, my thought wasn't to go down, it was to go above it.
Right. And you were.
And, to rise above it, to ascend to new heights with stuff like that. So.
Looking at Diana. Diana's got quiet because I'm like looking at her laptop because there are all these words. You must have been on dictionary.com.
I must have been.
And because they're like all these weird words like Cordillera. Seriously?
A system or group of parallel mountain ranges. All right.
Mountain ranges. There you go. Snow.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. But I just looked over there and
I never know what my screensaver's going to do.
I love it. Well, I'm recording the podcast, so mine's boring. But yours is more interesting.
It's so
random. I love it.
But yeah, so this year it's about approaching life with a sense of wonder, without that expectation, without the limits, just allowing stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is very much the Carpé Diem thing. It's to seize the day. It's to stay in the moment and appreciate what is going on.
Right.
When it's going on.
Right. I think this is okay. Putative is there right now, so that word needs to go away. Savoir faire was the one before that, though.
Oh, I like that word.
I like that too. But putative, and it stopped. So no, let's not have that in front of us. So I think we're always talking about our, people talk about inner child. I don't talk about this because I'm like, no, sorry. I want to talk about my inner child. I'm just going forward here. I don't need that. But maybe it's because it's there. Because when I see something gorgeous, I go crazy. When I see it snowing outside, I do a happy dance. When somebody sends me a funny text, I giggle. It's.
I don't have an inner child. My child is like right out.
We have our outer child. Our outer child seizing the day. Well, maybe that helps us do that and stay. It's not stay in the moment. How about this? How about seizing the day is about coasting with the moment. So that it takes us with it, instead of, I'm just going to grab onto this. I'm going to seize it. I'm going to coast. I'm going to just ride the wave of this amazing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. It's that dropping of the expectations. It's allowing, because you don't know what's going to come. And that shouldn't, so many people are scared of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually where the best stuff happens.
Yeah, it's still scary.
Oh, it is, but
it's still scary. You just have to do it
that's
anyway.
part of the whole seizing the day. You seize that moment and let it take you,
Right.
whatever it is.
Well, let it take you again, because it's seize the day and relinquish your hold on it, right? And let go of your hold on the day.
Well, and that's
That death grip that we talk about all the time.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I think, being so stuck in the expectations of the adult world, you were talking about the inner child, is that we forget about all of the fun and the play, and everything gets so serious, and then there has to be an outcome, and there has to be a this, and there's, we get into that icky, well, for me, it's totally icky, sticky mode. I mean, I'm going to pay my bills. I'm going to do responsible things, but I can be responsible and open at the same time.
There you go.
And it's funny because my kids are always telling me how weird I am.
Well, yeah.
And that's what I say.
So is that one of those things we have in common?
And
Ken just rolls his eyes at me. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I don't mind.
I get all the looks. So I got to tell you what I did for my son, who's up in college.
Okay? In Ohio, where it's not snowing.
Yeah, and he's got finals next week.
Ooh.
And
first college finals, big deal.
But most of my friends are like on their kids about, you got to get this grade, you better be studying, blah blah blah. I approach things differently.
Yeah, that's an understatement of the year.
So I sent him a box of inside snowballs. They're like Nerf balls that are fuzzy.
No way.
For them to have study breaks and, get into a snowball fight for him and his roommates.
I love it. I think that's particularly with his roommates.
I know, right?
I love it.
Although one is a pitcher.
So stay out of the way.
After I thought about that, I'm like, oh.
Get hit by 80 mile an hour fastball. I'm sorry, I just looked outside and it's just gorgeous.
I know it is.
This is just big, thick snow. Oh my gosh.
I know the flakes are getting huge.
They are. They're just gigantic.
I mean, speaking of snowballs, it looks like that's what's dropping from the sky.
It is. It does, doesn't it? My barn is covered with snow.
But one of the most important things to me when I was studying in college, and I kind of instigated it. I know that's hard to believe, but
I love this. So I love this. You have to share. If you shared this in every podcast, it wouldn't be too much.
Well, I don't even know if this is what you're thinking of, but we had to have study breaks.
Yeah.
We had to do that because the tension would get so thick.
Yeah.
And so some of the times we'd throw on some music and we'd have like a 5-minute dance party in the hallway.
I love it.
Everybody had to stop and we would just dance and act really stupid and whatever and then go back to studying.
Yeah.
Or, the one that I don't know if you're thinking of it is when we had sort of this weird break between finals.
Yeah.
And we went to the library and got trashy novels.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That's my fave.
And
of course that's my fave. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Dance party. I love dance party.
And read that. Or if it was snowing out, we went out and had this giant snowball fight. You need to release that tension. We've talked about that before too, is releasing some of that tension in order to be able to focus more.
Yeah.
And my freshman year, my first set of finals I ever had, I think I got 8 hours of sleep the entire week. But we had those little, letting off steam time that made it a whole lot easier.
That's great. I love that. It's just creating the space. We've done more than one episode on that about pausing, creating space, all of these things that can just give you that little head start you need to change your approach to what's going on around you.
Yeah, sometimes you need that little kick.
Right.
I do probably a lot more than and some days, you need just and actually that's one of my things that I used to do too, is when I would get into a really big rut, and I still kind of do it, but when I would get into a really big rut, especially a negative rut, I would do something either completely out of character or just something that would totally shift everything. Like big things sometimes, like buying a dog.
But that doesn't, I can't even picture anything you would do. that was out of character for you, other than dressing up in a suit and going to work in an office? I can't even.
Well,
you know,
it was out of character for the world around me.
Okay, that I'll take.
I think it wasn't necessarily out of character for me, but it was it was out.
Yeah, because you'll do anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Yeah, you're pretty freeform.
I like to be.
Yeah. Well, you know,
but there were points in my life where I wasn't as much. So
yeah, I know,
but and when I wasn't me. So it was.
I think that's part of this reclamation and this progression of your words to get to wonder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is reclaiming that. Well, you know, seizing the day, Carpe Diem, wonder, all these things are at their core keys to resilience.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I remember getting this comment a lot after Bo died, and you know, I'd be laughing, I'd do something funny would happen, you know, and people were like, well, you're doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, in this 30-second segment, yes, I'm doing really well. Come look in 5 minutes when I'm bawling my eyes out. But yeah, but the point is, it gave me a break. Recognizing the funny, recognizing the wonderful, recognizing the amazing things around me, you know, were just made little breaks in that intense time of grief.
Well, I think too, people, when you talk about resilience, I think they expect, you know, a complete shift.
Yeah.
And it's really
binary, off on.
Yeah. It's little pings.
Mm-hmm.
So you shift a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and then eventually the shifts get bigger.
Right.
You know,
but they like get amalgamated. They get all put together,
mm-hmm.
and they have moved you to another place because of that, that growth factor, that as they, you know, that they get to a critical mass.
Yeah.
And you have shifted.
Yes.
Even though you may not see it in the moment, this is a great retrospective thing, right? As you look back and you go, whoa, now I see how I got here.
Yeah.
Now this is the positive side of our podcast, which was episode 104 on I'm a Little Beat Up,
mm-hmm.
where all the cumulative things of the trials and tribulations you've been through just make you break down. By the same token, all the good stuff building up can shift you to a new positive place.
And that's a total perspective thing, because I know so many people, and I know you do too, that focus on that negative, and so, well, then my whole world is negative and everything's bad and nothing ever goes right, and I have the worst life ever, and what do I have to live for, and blah blah blah. And you know, it shifts either way.
Right. Is it and you just get to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday was bad. Yesterday, well, not tears bad, but up inside my head, negative. Oh, I worked so hard all day to get out of that space that I was exhausted, which is why last night was perfect to be at that solstice event. So when I say wonder, and I'm filled with wonder and Carpe Diem, and look at this, it's a practice. You're kind of born with it, and it kind of goes away a little bit, but it's a practice that you can reclaim. So what did I do? Oh, I had to go shopping. I got some stuff. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to do a little Christmas shopping because that will make me feel better. So I set these real strict limits on what I was going to do. And I got a couple of things for Ken. And I felt 1,000,000% better. Plus, what did I do? I was around people.
You were around people.
I came home thinking, you're killing yourself working by yourself. You have got to go to the co-working space. I have got to go be working around people.
Well, and on top of that, you were doing something for somebody else, so you're getting outside of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a huge shifter.
It is. Oh, you know what happened to me this week? This is so awesome. So Wednesday night, we had a book club dinner for our birthdays. We had a bunch of birthdays. Like in 2 weeks, we had 4 birthdays. And then so before that was the resume thing, which I loved. Oh my gosh, I did like 25% resume review, 75% coaching. And then I just went late to the dinner. And then last night was the winter solstice at Mary Martha's place. So I spent the last 2 evenings in the company of the people who hold me up.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that crazy? Oh, I got a little tear in my eye now. I mean, back to back.
That's awesome.
Back to back nights. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
See, I started the week on kind of a funky energy too, because some negative stuff happened.
Mercury's in retrograde, baby cakes.
And, you know, there's some stuff out there. But so I went and did something. Darius Rucker right now has a song out, and the line under the key of it is, when was the last time you did something for the first time?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so that's been very big on my head. That's something I think I'm going to do in the new year, is
Something new?
something at least once a month. I may even take a whole month where I do something once a week, something new once a week that I've, you know, for the first time.
Whoa.
Because it's such a big shifter for me. So that was something that I did this week to totally shift my energy.
I've been reading a lot about that lately, going, I don't even know if it's something new. So I have to think about what I can do that's new.
I keep my eyes open for things and experiences that I haven't done.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I haven't done that. I should go try that.
I love it. You're going to seize the day, baby.
I am.
You're going to seize the day.
If I can't get rid of my wonky energy the traditional ways, I'm going to go do something different.
I love it. I think that's right. I think that's the way to do it. You know, it's not just seize the day, it's seize the moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to take a minute and figure out our stamp of brilliance, and we'll be right back.
All right, today the stamp of brilliance is seize the day is the building block to resilience.
Oh, yeah. I think so. Seizing the day. Yeah, that just occurred to me.
Yep.
If you can find that moment, coast it in, you're building your resilience just right there. Forget about grit and all those words. Seize the day.
I like it. All right. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend. Also, take a minute and rate it and leave a review on iTunes. Check out our website at uniquelybrilliant.me and sign up to have the podcast delivered directly to your inbox. Shoot any thoughts, comments, and suggestions to us at uniquelybrilliant.me. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us and find us now on YouTube.
Until next time.